Thank you, Kevin, for that warm introduction. It indeed feels a little bit reminiscent to be back and joining the Advocates group. Today, it's not so much a speech. I'm going to say that right off the bat. We're having more of an evaluation workshop because evaluation is something, a skill that you're always going to continue to grow. And I could stand here and talk to you for 45 minutes about why evaluation is important, and you could say, that's great, Katherine, and maybe you'll take some of my tips, maybe you won't, maybe you'll sign up to be an evaluator next week, but more likely than not, nothing is actually going to change. So today, I'm going to give you an opportunity to actually practice the skills that we're going to talk about. So I'm going to start by giving you an overview of evaluation and why it's important. We then have Sergio, who has offered to be our test speaker. That's a really courageous role to take on because that means that anyone in this room could be called upon to do a table topic style evaluation of Sergio's speech. So not only is he going to get one evaluation, he's hopefully going to get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different evaluations of his speech. We're going to do as many as we have time for today. So that's my official notice to make sure you take really great notes so that you can be a wonderful evaluator for Sergio and practice the skills we're going to talk about today. So the first thing I want to cover is what is an evaluation. It's not a judgment. You're not judges who will be deciding who gets first, second, and third. An evaluation is an assessment, but it's really your opinion, how you reacted to a speaker, what you felt about what the speaker was saying, and it's your opinion about how they can improve, and also the things that they did really well. Evaluation is one of the most important things that we do at Toastmasters. Everyone who joins Toastmasters joins because they want to be a better speaker. They want to practice their speaking skills. But if I wanted to just practice my speaking skills, I could stand up at home in front of my 2-year-old son and he could make a couple of noises at me, and I could do that every week, and maybe I'd be a better speaker. But the value of Toastmasters is to hear from other people about your speaking so that you can use that information to continue to grow. So again, evaluation is not about criticism, it's not about critique, it's about positive suggestions and feedback to support each other as we all continue on our journey of growing into better speakers. So knowing what an evaluation is, who do you think can be an evaluator?
Everyone?
Everyone can. I actually was going to tell you that only advanced Toastmasters who were bronze level or higher were qualified to be evaluators, but that's completely false. We are all evaluators in our daily lives. When your boss asks you for feedback on a proposal, when your partner asks the dreaded question, how does this dress look? We are all evaluators every day. So the only requirement to be an evaluator is your ability to listen and pay attention and offer feedback in a way that is constructive and helpful and supports your fellow Toastmasters in their journey going forward. Sometimes people think that the more experienced you are, the better evaluator you're going to be, and that is not the case. In fact, it's completely false. I think the best evaluation I ever received was from a brand new Toastmaster who had only given 2 speeches. I'd been in a club for about 3 years, and every time I would do a speech, regardless of whether I had rehearsed it 8 times or I wrote it on the fly in the cab ride over, I got the same feedback. That was amazing, your gestures were great, everything was just wonderful, don't change anything. And that wasn't helpful to me at all. That didn't help me to grow. We had a new Toastmaster, and that new Toastmaster looked at the way I was speaking and looked at the things that they were currently working on in their manual and was able to provide me with feedback that I hadn't heard before. And that was the most useful thing to me than someone just saying, yeah, everything's great, keep on going, I wish I could be like you. Doesn't help at all. So why is evaluation so important? Why is it something that we should even bother with at all? As I said, we can just do presentations in front of our kids, or our stuffed animals at home, or our pets, or we could even get together in Toastmasters and just do a number of speeches and not actually have any assessment or evaluation at all. Well, that's not really going to help us to grow. There are 3 different audiences that benefit from having really effective evaluation. The first is obviously the speaker. You're going to get feedback from your fellow Toastmasters. I don't know if you guys do written feedback here as well as getting feedback from one evaluator. That's really helpful to know that maybe I was speaking too quietly. Maybe I was speaking too quickly. Maybe my hands were all over the place and you couldn't listen to anything I was saying. Those are really important things to know as a speaker so that you can continue to work on them. The other thing that's really valuable for a speaker that often we don't think about is sharing what somebody did well. I don't know if you're like me, but I am my worst critic. I could tell you absolutely everything, down to the minutest little detail, what I did wrong and what I could do better. But I don't always see my own strengths. And even if I see some of my own strengths, I don't see my strengths the way my audience sees my strengths. So hearing from others about what you're doing well is equally as important as hearing others' suggestions for improvement. The second person that is really going to benefit from your evaluations is you. As I said, evaluations is a part of everyday life, and we're evaluating things when we don't even realize we're evaluating things. So it's a really important skill to be able to practice so that when you're asked how this outfit looks, you don't trip over yourself, you're not too harsh, you're not too soft. You can offer a balanced approach. If it's to your partner, I would say you just say, honey, it looks great. So it's really important to be able to offer that constructive feedback and praise, and this is a great opportunity to practice it. The other thing about evaluations that can make them a little bit difficult is that it's kind of an impromptu speech. You don't get the opportunity to hear someone's speech and come back next week when you've formulated your thoughts and you've reflected on it for a whole week. You have a very short time frame to come up with what you're going to offer to that person. So it's a great opportunity to be able to do that on the fly. And your boss may be asking for feedback on a proposal that you're not getting a lot of time to prepare your answers for. The other audience that really benefits from your evaluations is the club as a whole. Although you may be giving an evaluation to me or an evaluation to Sergio, others are going to listen to that as well. And maybe other people are also wondering how they can do gestures effectively, or how they can use more vocal variety, or how a really wonderfully structured speech works. So others are going to be learning from those evaluations at the same time, both in terms of what you're offering to the speaker, as well as how you're delivering that evaluation. And as Kevin said, having a really high caliber of evaluations helps your club to grow and move forward, because collectively you are a group of members, and as each member is improving and supporting each other, your club as a whole is going to continue to grow and strengthen as well. So now that we've got a bit of a basis about why it's important, who can do it, and what is evaluation to begin with, I'm going to walk through the steps of how to do an evaluation effectively. So the first thing I would always do when you sign up as an evaluator, or when you're volunteered as an evaluator, is talk to the speaker. Sergio, you're going to be doing a presentation today. What are you working on? Is that competent communicator number 5? Is it from an advanced manual? Talk to the speaker to find out what the objectives are. You can read through the project in the manual. You can also ask the speaker what they're working on, because maybe there's something in particular they would like you to focus on. So make sure you read through the project guide, talk to the speaker, and also anything that's happening, as you know, in a manual is going to have a specific evaluation guide to it as well. It's a good idea to read through that so you know what exactly you'll be asked to provide a written evaluation on. During the speech, it's really important that you listen to what the speaker is saying, watch how the speaker is saying it, but also make sure that you're watching for what others are doing. Is the audience engaged? Are they listening? Have they drifted off? Are people leaning in because they're excited about what's being said? So it's important to be able to balance between watching the speaker as well as watching how the information is being received by the audience. At the same time, you're going to be madly scribbling notes to yourself, hopefully in some kind of shorthand, so that you can keep everything together. After the speech is finished, you need to try and organize your notes in some way so that you can be prepared to deliver your evaluation. One of the methods that is the most supported in Toastmasters and is often talked about is called the sandwich method. So this method says that you say something positive about what the speaker did, you offer your suggestion for improvement as the meat in the sandwich, and you finish off with something positive. So as you're going through your notes and you're trying to organize, it's best to look at all of your notes and figure out, okay, where are my praise points that I'm going to bookend my suggestion with, and what is the biggest suggestion? It's important to remember that the suggestion that you're offering is your own opinion. It's not fact, it's not statement, it is just your opinion about how the speech was done and your reaction to it. Another important thing to note when you're looking at this giant pile of notes and wondering how you're going to structure this into a 2-minute evaluation is to remember that not everything that you thought about the speech needs to be touched on. I would say you should pick your top praises and your one suggestion. You'll also have an opportunity to provide written feedback on the evaluation guide, and you also have the opportunity to talk to the speaker afterwards if you maybe have a second or third point that you weren't able to raise in your evaluation that you presented. One of the really important things about evaluation is to make sure that you're specific about what you're saying. Simply saying, you had really great gestures, again, doesn't help the speaker because I don't know if you thought they were great because there was so many, or because I kept doing them, or because they were different gestures that you hadn't seen other speakers do before. So it's really great to structure it as, I really enjoyed your gestures. They were effective because you did them in this way. And tell the speaker exactly what it is that you saw. This is even more important for your criticism. Because what you want to say there is, Katherine, I saw you standing rooted in one position, and your hands were clasped, and it was really difficult for me to engage with you as a speaker. I think what you were trying to do was be open and wander around, and I think it would have been more effective if you worked in this way. It's much more effective than saying, Katherine, you stood in one place, please move more. Because it doesn't explain to me as the speaker what the impact was on the audience and why you would be seeing that that was an area I could improve on. The other piece that's important to remember in your evaluation is that this is a mini speech. So all of the skills that you've been building as a speaker also come into play. Pausing, vocal variety, gestures, all of those things are still going to apply in this mini speech, and it's important to think of it that way. After your evaluation is complete, now is the time to complete the evaluation guide if you haven't had a chance to fill out all of the written questions. And I would also suggest that at that point you talk to the speaker. The meeting is over. Now's a chance to say, Sergio, I really enjoyed your speech. In addition to what I told you, I noted a couple of other things that I would like to share with you. It's an opportunity, again, in addition to what's written down and what I've presented to the group, to provide some additional feedback. And because Toastmasters is all about growing, it's also the opportunity for me to say, how did that evaluation work for you? How was my suggestion? Did I elaborate enough? Was I specific enough? Was my evaluation helpful to you? Because then I'm able to take that information and use it to continue to develop my own evaluation skills as I move forward. And maybe Sergio says, Katherine, it was great. It was totally fine. It was an okay evaluation. Yep, you're fine. That's okay. And then I say, Kevin, you've been in this club for a long time. You heard my evaluation today. Could we talk, do you have any feedback? Is there anything that I could improve on? Anything I could change for later? Because again, the evaluator is not the expert. It's not that you do an evaluation once and you're the expert, you're completely finished. That's a skill that I want to continue to learn as well. And seeking feedback from other members informally is another way that I can continue to develop those skills. So in summary, I just want to share and remind you that the evaluator is not the expert. It's a fellow Toastmaster providing their comments, their suggestions on your presentation to assist with future growth and also to help build your confidence. One of the things we really want to avoid in an evaluation is someone walking away with their confidence being hurt. That can have a really big impact on a speaker. It can mean that they are nervous to speak again. It could even mean that they leave the club. So it's really important to make sure that we're providing evaluations that are more balanced in terms of positive suggestions, as well as the positive feedback. We want to make sure that people always leave knowing that they did some things really, really well, so that they will continue on in their journey with Toastmasters. We're now going to move on to our workshop portion of today. So I would like to welcome Sergio, who is going to do our test speech, and after that, we will move on to some evaluations.